goddamn get it on, will ya? Woo. When the blow up now, everybody's so unusual with it. Shit. But said times in his rhymes, cause his memories. We running through New York, so you know.
Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So if you'll see in front of me, we've got ISTA Plus loaded and ready to roll on the F series. Now the reason I'm going to be teaching you how to use ISTA on the F series is purely because there's a lot of differences on ISTA now with the PSDZ data than there was previously with the E series, and there's a lot more things you can do with ISTA. Now if you don't know what ISTA is, ISTA was built for the BMW dealers globally. This is not the software that they use in a factory to code and program your car. This was made for the BMW technicians so they don't get themselves in a kerfuffle, because E-System, NCS Expert, Wink FP would not be easy enough for these guys to understand how to use. So they integrated it all into one system where they cannot make any mistakes, because everything is self-explanatory. Everything, you have to follow instructions and click next and next and next, and everything does it for you. So Germany built this program specifically for BMW technicians. Now to use this, I believe you've got to go on a 2-year course just to learn how to use ISTA. If you don't know what ISTA is, it's the Integral Service Technical Application for BMW. You'll see it just up here, BMW Service Workshop System. If you take your car into BMW, a lot of you go in there saying, oh, you want your car updated, you want this, you want that. They tell you they can't do it, and that's purely because BMW, when you go in there, cannot just update one specific module, and I agree with them on that. I know because I do this. You cannot go to BMW just say you want your DME updated. It does not work like that. ISTA P will not let you do that. Saying that, ISTA P is no longer used on F series. Everything is integrated into ISTA, same for the G series. If you want to update your cars, you have to use ISTA, and you'll see that as we go in. For updating, you will need an ICOM, but today we're going to be using the Ethernet cable. I do have a voltage stabilizer, however, and you will be needing that also. If you do have extended instrument cluster and also the HUCIC or the HUMBT, you will need to run your ICOM via another network to program it, because they're linked up by most fiber cables in the car. The MBT or the CIC is connected to the extended combi or instrument cluster, as I've got in my car. There's a special way that needs to be programmed, or it will fail. You will not be able to program that with an Ethernet. So what I'm going to go ahead and do right now is we're going to load up operations. You guys know how to do this. And if you see here, I do have different things that I've got the latest version of ISTA. You all have model code, basic features, and you've got readout vehicle data. This is the one we're going to want. We're going to click complete vehicle identification. Now the car is on, it is outside, and I've also got the Ethernet cable connected. Now if you see here, here's the Ethernet cable. Now beware that F series does use a lot of power, so it might flag up saying that the battery voltage is low. If it does, you just click OK. We're not planning to be in the system too long. I just want to give you a brief demonstration and understanding of how to use ISTA. Everything on here is very, very difficult for a lot of people, especially if you just got this program or it's been installed for you. And next thing, you're open to this whole world that you knew nothing about, ready to diagnose your car. So I'm going to show you what each function actually has and what you can do with it on the F series. Now I did do one of these some time ago, but it wasn't very clear as I'm showing you today. It also wasn't screen recorded, so a lot of you couldn't see it very clearly. Therefore, a lot of you asked me to do another one, and that's why I'm doing this especially for you. If you see here, it's loading up all the car. It's going to do the vehicle identification. It loads up everything that I have on the car, what the mileage, VIN, what car it is. And as you'll see there, it says the battery voltage terminal 30 is below the permissible threshold value of 12.55. We'll just click OK, because we're not going to be here long showing you everything. A lot of you will get the drift of how to use ISTA. If you'll see there as well, with F series, it stores the previous vehicle's data. Now BMW have finally done this, and this is because a lot of the technicians will destroy someone's car, not know what went wrong, and they'll say that they've never plugged up the car. Now when the head technician goes and plugs up the car and he sees this, a case of open programming activities exists for the vehicle, it will flag up here that the car has been connected. Now, one thing with ISTA, which many of you guys don't realize, and only the head technicians will know, if you are a BMW technician, you watch this channel, or you're on my membership also, you won't be aware that ISTA actually stores all the ABLs. So no matter what car you connect to, whatever you've done in ISTA, it stores on the ABL. So when you close the connection between the car and ISTA, it will save an ABL, and that's how it remembers a case of open programming activities exists for this vehicle, should it be continued, because there's ABLs on here showing I've connected to this vehicle previously. So if you was to mess up on the car, that your head technician or you yourself will be able to see everything you did on that vehicle. Not only that, if you use this to yourself and you forget the fault codes, you will be able to load up the ABL to show your customer that what you actually done on the car. And I'll show you that in another video, how to load up all the operation reports you've done and everything I've done on the car. That'll be in another video, and I'll show you how to access that and also how to read them. So we're going to click no on this one because we don't want to continue that case, and we're going to let it go along. Now I will be showing you how to connect your ICOM up to program cars via the MOS network. That will be on another separate video coming on the membership also. So if you guys want to go and check that out, that'll be on there. Now nobody's really done a video on that showing you how to connect the ICOM up, especially to use to program extended instrument clusters or the CIC or the MBT. That's something that nobody seems to want to show you, but it's something I know how to do, and I'll go through how you got to do that. It's not as easy as it was on the E-Series, so don't think you just need a MOS fiber port. There is no MOS fiber port like there is on the E60 anymore. There's a special way you have to do it. There is no MOS fiber port you plug in from the ICOM at all. It does not work like that anymore, so do not be thinking it's that and you know how to do it, because you will not know how to do it. It's very, very difficult, very technical, and you need to know what you're doing to be able to pass it through the car, because it has to go through another system, through your system, through the ICOM to the car. Very, very difficult system to set up. But if you know how to do it, it's not. I will show that in another video for a lot of you guys, because I know you guys are going to want to be eager to program your car in the F-Series if you get one. That's something I'll show you later on. Now, if you see here, it's reading the current vehicle context. Now, if you see here, we've got another battery pop-up saying the battery voltage is low. We'll just click OK. It will do that numerous times as it goes to connect to the car. It's just warning you that your battery voltage could be low. Now on my car, it's using the original BMW battery, but I have got a voltage stabilizer on, so it's powering the car already, so I don't really have to worry too much about that. But my battery does need changing, as it's original BMW battery. Where the car is under 10 years old, it's time for a battery change, so we are going to be changing that over on my 1 Series as well to make sure we get the right battery. That'll be another video showing you how to code it on the F-Series also, and change the battery AH if you need to be. You might want to change to a bigger one. To last longer, that's entirely up to you, but I'm going to be fitting what's already fitted in the car, which is an 80 amp. Now, as you see there, everything's loaded in front of me. Now you'll see here all my modules are clear. There is no wrong version variants installed or anything like that, because we've corrected all that with the coding with V-System. So everything on my car is clear. It doesn't have any fault codes, and that's because I've rectified nearly all the issues. Now, a lot of you are thinking, what am I going to go into? It does look a lot like it would on the E-Series, shows you all the different modules here on the control unit tree and things like that. If we just go into vehicle details, you'll see here you've got all the information you need. Now you do have right service history. Now I don't know if that's going to work, but we can try. We can see if that will work, and it probably will work. I don't know. We can see here it will write the service history to the car. Now, I believe you can write the service history, so here it is right here, but you're going to need an online connection to BMW to be able to write the service history, so therefore we're not going to be able to do that. So it does load up. Well, I didn't think it would, but it does. Now, if you see here, this is all the information about your car. You've also got the eye level, which is very, very important with F-Series, especially if you're planning to program. Getting the eye level is very, very critical to know if you're on the latest firmware. This is where a lot of people come to get it from, or you can read it if you've got the PSDZ data full in E-System. So it is quite important information here, especially on the F-Series. In vehicle equipment, this will be all your vehicle order, everything that's programmed to the car, everything that your car's spec'd with. Here is all your FSC codes and everything that's been activated. So you've got Servotronic, road sign recognition, voice processing system, CIC nav application, navigation system professional, roadmap of Europe Premium 2013. And then you've got secure feature activation information cannot be determined, which is something else. But the roadmaps, is another thing I'm going to be upgrading when I realize what ones I want to upgrade to. I'm not sure yet, because I'm planning on fitting Apple CarPlay. So I don't even know if I'm going to actually upgrade it or leave it. I'm not sure yet what I'm planning to do, but maps is something I plan on upgrading. I don't know if I'm going high, premium, who knows, but we'll find out later on. So down here, you'll have all your VO settings, which is just down here. You'll see all my VO, and this is everything that's fitted to my car. As you see down there, 80 amp AGM battery. You've also got down here all the cruise control that fitted, rain sensor, everything else, blow by heater, basically everything you need on the car. You've also got interior rear view mirror with automatic anti-dazzle function. So you've got everything in here that you need, but bearing in mind when you load up your VO. Now, When we go to vehicle management, we'll go to vehicle management right here. You've got repair and maintenance. Now, many of you guys will know what this is. This is all to help you diagnose any faults on the car or anything you need. So you see there's center shift, mechanical transmission. Go to automatic transmission, it'll tell you how to change things, torque specs and everything else right in here via ISTA itself. You've got the troubleshooting, which troubleshooting can be for your fault pattern. You can pick up the pattern, what's happening, and it should tell you what's actually wrong. You've also got your component structure here as well. You've got your tech search here, which you can search certain things. So if you want to put in, I don't know, glove box or lights or transmission, it'll bring up everything to do with the transmission that it can find relating to ISTA. You've also got the SAE fault code input. So if you want to put the SAE fault code and then the fault code input there. In service functions, and many of you will know what this is, but on F series is completely different. So in powertrain, you've also got the engine electronics for the adjustment functions. So you see there you can adjust the wastegate linkage, adjust the injectors and everything else, reset the adaptions if you have to. You can also teach in the exhaust flap move to installation position. You've also got the automatic engine start stop. You can do the register starter exchange. So because it's got the start stop, you will need to register the starter, otherwise the car won't know when to turn off the car when it wants to use the auto start stop. Not that anyone cares about that. Most people actually code it out. Useless feature and actually just kills off your starter motors, but you have to register them these days so the computer knows. It's not registering them so they can't be sold on. You just have to register a starter exchange with the DME so it knows, so it can do the auto start stop features. Then you've got coasting right there. You've also got the cooling system, which you can ventilate the cooling system, obviously if you want to bleed it. Crankcase pressure measurement if you need to do the crankcase, engine oil quantity. You've got ignition coil test, radiator blind, reset generator statistical data, set maximum oil pressure, start up following walnut blasting, start up of the oil circuit, suspicion of engine tuning. You've got register starter exchange, reset starter lock, transmission control unit 8 HP, OBD scan tool. In here you've got chassis and suspension, so this will be, if you've got adaptive suspension, it will be in here where to readapt it. As you can see here, you've got adjust the thrust piece, and that's a common problem on the steering. On these 1 Series on the F30s, the thrust piece would start knocking and making a clunking noise and you would have to change it. Luckily, this one has been changed, so I got very, very lucky here. You've also got the capacitor box on the steering as well, because these steering racks are electric, so they use electric power steering. So therefore, you need to adjust them all here and register them. It's very, very technical on these cars. You've also got integrated chassis management. And you'll see here, this is adjustment of the ICM sensor system, ride height adjustment, startup rotor position sensor, HSR. You've also got the traction control system, again, which is linked in with the integrated chassis management. So you wanted to come in here to make the adjustments as well. Obviously, with your brake bleeding, DSC control unit adjustment, everything's in here that you'll need. In the body, it goes on, there's everything to do with the body. So anything you'll need to find will be in the functions here relating to the body on the car, inside the car, anything else. So you initialize the flex ray system, instrument cluster self-test if you feel like the instrument cluster is faulty. You can run head unit, restore it to delivery status if you really wanted to. You can do heating and air conditioning functions. You can do the flat motors, calibrate them, independent auxiliary heaters, adjust the under voltage limit. You can do the telestart transmitter. There's a lot of things you can do in this system, which main dealers can do as well. On this one, you've got auto addressing of the light sources of the Limbus system, initialize the headlight, driver module and teaching LED headlights, ride height adjustment, because they've got ride height sensors for the lights that move up and down as you're driving. You've got locking and security functions. You've got power window regulator here, remote key to block and enable them, slide tilt sunroof if you have the sunroof, mine doesn't. Most ring, now this will be dependent on your car. You might have the most ring, you might not, depends on your spec of car. Rain and light sensor here as well, where you can initialize it like I had to when I actually changed and retrofitted it. I had to initialize it. You've got the safety functions here for the lock airbag. Now, locking the airbag is a must. Before programming, the airbag module must be locked. Otherwise, you won't be able to program and you end up with faults. That's a new thing on F-Series as well. If many of you guys don't know that, you can't just program the airbag module. You will have to lock it, the airbag module beforehand. You've got seat adjustment normalization, standardized driver's seat. You've got seats here as well. So you can standardize the driver's seat as well. Configuration memory switch, rear passenger compartment. You've got the voltage supply here as well. This is for all the battery registration and everything else. So you've got active rest state, power down command, evaluating the battery state of charge, register battery replacement, evaluate closed circuit monitoring, which is what you'd come to for battery drains. Driver assistance, you've got the active cruise control right there. So mine don't have active cruise control. You've also got the camera based drive support systems. So for instance, if you have a windscreen changed and you've got the CAFAS camera, you will need to reinitialize and calibrate the camera on the windscreen. A lot of people ain't aware of that. If you don't do that, the camera will not work properly. Most people, when they change the windscreen, they do have a system to recalibrate it, so you don't have to worry about that. In maintenance and pre-delivery, this is all your CBS correction. We set the CBS condition-based service, CBS correction tester, battery charging or trickle charging via diagnostic socket, so you can do it through there as well. If you had seen one of my previous videos with a lot of the scan tools, you do get that as well. Charging ports where you can put it through the OBD port, which I have shown you, and that's what I told you. You can charge the car while you're programming. You've got the Trek control messages, remote door locking command, unlocking command activation, and obviously you've got the BMW Group mobile services here, which many people don't care about. Now, the next one I know a lot of you are going to be caring about is the software update. Now, if you see here, obviously it's going to tell you the battery voltage is quite low, and obviously another thing you all want is for you to put the car on charge. Now, it does warn you that the battery is low. What it's going to do is calculate the measures plan. Now, I'm not going to have no updates because everything's up to date on my car, but this is where you would come to. Now, you need to remember, make sure you have an ICOM. I get a lot of people messaging me on a regular basis, not knowing anything about this program. They get an Ethernet cable, they see software update, they go onto it, try and program their car via an Ethernet. Do not do that. I'm telling you right now, that's not a good thing to do. Do not even think about doing it. Then I get people telling me the programming started and they pulled the cable out and destroyed their whole car. Do not start the programming if you have an Ethernet. It is recommended, and I strongly recommend it if you are going to program via ISTA here. Make sure to get an ICOM and an ICOM next. You can get very, very good ones. They're not cheap. I can tell you that right now. I paid over £700 for my one directly from BMW, but it is what it is. If you want something to work and you want to get into this deeply, you'll pay at no end's cost for the ICOM next. Now, I do get them cheaper because of my trade discount, but that's not to say I can do it for everybody. Like I say, from 700, I believe I can get them for around £400. So it is a lot cheaper, and that's the whole kit for the ICOM next. Obviously, I need it because of what I do. You'll see here, this is how you get into the programming. It will calculate all the modules on the car, calculate all the measures plans, and let you know what needs programming. Through this as well, you can also do retrofits. You can add certain things, turn off certain features, and do whatever you need to all through this system. This is what is great about the new ISTA Plus now. You can do everything through this system. And this is how I end up updating my F20 through ISTA Plus. It was straightforward. It was literally foolproof. Whatever couldn't be updated, it reverted, does a backup of everything, and puts it all back if it can't update it. It is really, really straightforward. ISTA will not tell you how to use the ICOM and whatnot and so on. It doesn't tell you that. What it does do is if it can't program it on the car, it will just revert it back. Now, if you see here, there's no programming necessary. The vehicle is already up to date. You see that all here on my car. Now, what this will hint you, before even programming, it knows if your laptop is on charge. It will not even let you go ahead to program the car if that laptop is not on charge. Believe me when I'm telling you that. It checks everything. If the laptop is powered correctly, if you've got the ICOM connected correctly, it checks everything before the programming goes ahead. This is very, very foolproof. You cannot make a mistake here because it directs you and tells you everything. It won't even start the program unless even if the battery is 100%, it wants the laptop on charge. It doesn't care, and that makes it very foolproof for anyone. In advance, you can see here you've got all the programming and coding. You've got all the modules here, so you can encode all modules, control units. It's very dependent on you. You've got additional features here, which you can do enabling of the maps, HD update, navigation of maps, whatever you need to do. Now in here, you've also got your comfort. This is your comfort where you can start executing measure plans, whatever comes up. Nothing's going to come up for mine because I'm already on the latest firmware. You see here, there's a lot of different functions, and the more features and modules your car has, the more modules will come up for programming. Now on control unit replacement, we'll just go here. You can see here, you can do anything that's been replaced as well on here, and you can just replace it. You'll see here, but ISTA cannot do second-hand modules. You'll have to buy new modules to make it work. Even the gear selector switch is electronic now, so you have to replace that. That's why you have to be careful, because this thing can only do new modules. It cannot do second-hand modules. Now this is why, as I said to you, BMW you can't just take your car in and ask for it to be updated. Now some of them might know you personally, some of them might be very friendly and just say, oh yeah, bring it in, we'll update for you, no problem, because they know what they're doing. But other techs are very scared to even touch the software update button because they get told to not do it unless it's necessary, because one, they're covered by the BMW techs higher up, and not only that, they're covered by Germany because of the warranty claim. Two, they usually have someone there because it's either the car's under warranty and they need to do it, so they have no choice but to click that software update button, or it's under 3 years old, so they have to keep carrying out software updates. Now in vehicle modification, you can see here, you can do all the retrofits. If you can see here, retrofitting GPS clock correction, retrofit rear view camera, park distance control. You can do everything you want to do with your vehicle modification. You can see here we've got the conversion LED headlight from model revision. You've got the deactivate comfort access conversion. You've got everything here if you wanted to do retrofits. You've also got conversions here as well. Continuous operation of rear window heating, sport brake installation, activate recirculated air memory, alternating frequency, tracing activating. You've got everything here, retrofit DAB, DMB audio, retrofit auxiliary heating, retrofit an iPhone station, removal of retrofit conversion, remove conversion coding only, and you've got everything here as well. Driver seatbelt warning, front passenger seatbelt warning, deactivation of horn, warning when locking when the engine is running, deactivation of the automatic air recirculation control, conversion deactivate fan lowering during hands-free mode, and then it will tell you immediate actions, control unit validation, import vehicle order. Those will be your immediate actions. After you've probably done that, you'll have to actually carry out them things right there. So therefore, you do have to be careful with ISTA on what you select. Do not ever click immediate actions unless you know what you're doing, because you will have to select the immediate actions, what ones you're going to want. So you're going to want to import the vehicle order after doing any kind of retrofits. In the service plan, that will be for you or the main dealers if you needed to use it. Obviously, you've got program plan there as well. Obviously, workshop operating fluids, this tells you all the fluids to use, operating fluids, mobile service, all the tools that BMW use to remove the engine, remove certain parts. You can look it up on here and see the exact tools they use. As you see here, the program is very, very in-depth. Providing you get the latest version of ISTA, you will have all the latest PSDZ data files as well, so you'll be able to program and code the cars safely via ISTA Plus. It's not hard, you just have to know what you need and how to connect it all. The more bigger the car, for instance, if it's an F01 or it's an F10, the more stuff that runs through the most fiber port, you will need to know how to connect all that up to program the car. It is really, really not hard, and therefore I do strongly recommend that obviously you buy an ICOM if you're planning to get ISTA and you're planning to get involved in this really, really highly. Make sure you have all the necessary equipment. You are going to need a voltage stabilizer. Do not think you're able to do this without a voltage stabilizer, and do not trust anyone that tells you to program it through ENET. I'm just telling you right now, you can go ahead and program it through ENET, but when it all drops out and it cannot program the most viable ports or anything on the system, you will come back to me and say it's not programming it, and that's purely because you can't use an ENET cable. And I'll show you why you can't use that when I show you how to use the ICOM properly and what it actually connects to, why you can't use an ENET cable for programming anything on the most fiber network. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys, and I hope this gives you like a breakdown of how to use ISTA Plus in here. You get a drift of how all the functions work, what you need to go to. And if you are stuck, I will be making more videos on how to use this on the F series as we go on, as I use it, like registering a battery replacement, changing the battery, doing other software updates, because obviously now I'm with F series, I look to keep going with F series and buying other F series, so we will be doing more and more and more videos on the F series as we go along. But you see how easy it is. Just please understand, just because I make it sound easy programming and coding via ISTA, it isn't as easy as it seems. Yes, it is foolproof, but if you don't have an ICOM and you don't know how to connect that, you're going to run into a heap of issues. You can't just connect it directly into your laptop and expect it to work. It's not the way it works anymore. There is other ways of doing that. So do not think you can just go in, program, and everything's going to be fine. It doesn't work like that at all. You can't just jump into it. It is not as easy as E-Series. Listen to what I'm telling you. It's not as easy as E-Series. Okay, and I want you to understand that, because a lot of people just won't believe me and will go ahead and try and do it, then come to me moaning that they've damaged their car. And I'm not planning to help anybody if you damage your car in the wrong way, because I'm giving you the warning right now. You cannot just go ahead and update your whole car thinking everything's going to be rosy and fine. It just will not happen. This is very, very difficult to use, and you'll see it as it goes through all the stages. It does a lot of rewriting the coding, rewriting the FSC codes, rewriting all the VO. It takes its time to rewrite everything, and it does it in a certain order, and you have to know how to program the modules in a certain order. They have to be programmed in a certain order. You can't just go and program whatever you feel. It doesn't work like that on the F series. You can't just program like the DME and expect it to run again. It doesn't work. On F series, they go in order. There's an order they go in, and you guys will see that. when I actually show you how to use the software updates on ISTA. So thank you very much for watching, guys. It's BMW Dr. Dean here, and goodbye.